this demonstration, we're going to discuss program stage sharing. Program stage sharing allows us to control the level of access for different program stages within both event and tracker programs. It allows us to control both the different program stages that people have access to, as well as what they can do when they have access to those different stages. We're going to use a 5-stage tracker program in order to demonstrate this concept. This program is for case-based disease surveillance. It has 5 stages, as we can see on the left-hand side: clinical examination and diagnosis, specimen tracking, lab results, contact tracing, and a disease-specific case investigation stage that is dependent upon the disease that is identified within the program. If we have a look at these different stages, we could identify different users or groups of users that would be responsible for collecting the data within these different program stages. For example, if we have a look at the first stage, clinical examination and diagnosis, the majority of the time this is going to be performed within the health facility. This would mean that this is the responsibility of the health worker to fill in. If we have a look at stages 2 and 3, these might be the responsibility of a laboratory technician or other laboratory staff. We can also have a look at stage 4, contact tracing. This could be potentially the responsibility of both the health worker, who would be responsible at the point of contact for obtaining this information if possible, as well as potentially a case investigation team who could perform additional follow-up when they're out in the field. Lastly, we have the disease-specific case investigation stage. This is the responsibility of a case investigation team. For an overall picture, we might also have a district manager who should be able to see data from all of these different stages, but not necessarily be able to edit any of the data within them. Note that in this scenario, we will allow the 3 user groups that can edit data to see data within the stages that they cannot edit, in order to get an overview of the case for each individual case that is registered within this program. So, to recap, we've identified 4 different groups of users. The first group that we've identified are our health workers, and they should be able to edit the data from stages 1 and stage 4. Secondly, we've identified our laboratory technicians. They should be able to edit the data from stages 2 and 3. We've also identified our case investigation teams, and they should be able to edit the data from stage 4 and the disease-specific case investigation stage. Lastly, we have our district manager. They shouldn't be able to edit data from any of the stages, but they should be able to see the data from all the stages. We're going to take 2 of these user groups and have a look at what it looks like from their perspective. The first group that we'll have a look at are our health workers. Secondly, we will also look at the district managers, in order to see what it looks like when they try to access this program. So I've gone ahead and I've logged in as the health worker. I'm still accessing the same program and the same case that I was accessing previously when I went through the initial overview. When I was going over the different roles that this user has, I mentioned that this user should be able to edit the data from stage 1 and stage 4. I also noted that I will allow them to see the data from the other stages, but they won't be able to edit that data. If I have a look at the program and I view stage 1, I can see that this person can interact with the program and change any of the data that's been entered. If I have a look at the second stage, however, I can see that this person cannot edit any of the data within this stage. You can also see that they cannot add new events to that particular program stage. If they try to do so, then a warning appears telling them that they cannot edit that particular program stage. The same is true of stage 3. You can see that the user cannot edit the data, however, they can view this data. The user has access to edit stage 4, as we mentioned earlier, and you can see that they can interact with all the data elements within this program stage. Lastly, we have the case investigation stage, and you can see this user cannot edit the data within this stage either. In the second example, I've now logged in as the district manager. I noted earlier that the district manager should be able to see all of the program stages, but shouldn't be able to actually edit any of the data within these stages. If I have a look at the different program stages, we can see that this is the result here in Tracker Capture. In order to achieve this configuration for the various settings for these different user groups, I have used the concept of program stage sharing. This is what it looks like for the user when they're accessing the program within Tracker Capture. If you also want to learn how to configure this, please have a look at the documentation as well as the accompanying tutorial video that dives into much more detail of these various concepts. As always, if you do have any questions, let us know.